Hello everyone. At the very beginning of the speech, I want to start with a quick show of hands. How many of you have spent a solid amount of hour last weekend, let's say playing social media, video games or social medias? Okay. After these distractions, do you feel a sense of guilt? A voice in your mind whispers that your time could have been better spent on something more productive rather than playing. We have somebody saying no. Okay, that's fine, but at least for me, that's the truth. And during our everyday life, we are often encouraged to maximize our time and make use of those fragmented moments. The idea is that we should stop the endless scrolling and do something real, like reading some insightful books, studying for our classworks, or memorizing some vocabulary. Yeah, why would you watch a group of people cleaning dirty carpets while you could be actually working? But then again, why not? Are we meant to constantly evaluate our every action, like a shop clerk scanning items to see if they are meaningful or meaningless? Let's talk about a story. Last year, I wasn't here in BRS. I wasn't in China. I was in Mauritania, a country in the West Africa, and I was learning there. Each time when we had our French class, our French teacher would ask us, "Qu'est-ce que tu as fait hier?" or "Qu'est-ce que tu as fait le week-end?" which means, what have you done yesterday? Or what have you done this weekend? For me, I have to admit that during my time of relaxation, the most thing I've done is playing video games and watching derivative works of it. But when I was answering about what I've done, all these turns out to be minor points that I don't want to mention. Sometimes I'd rather say, "J'ai dormi," I've slept, or "J'ai étudié," I've studied. Why? Because they sound more socially acceptable. They are productive. But what about saying that I spent an entire afternoon lost in a game? That's somehow confessing to a crime. So, in fact, I was editing my own life to make it seem more meaningful on the surface. Of course, my French teacher complained that I was always working and never understood what it means to rest. I have to say that it is not me who do not rest, but it turns out to be a part of me won't let me. I don't know if you have the same feeling, but for me, when I was doing something that is usually categorized as meaningless, I feel I'm doing something illegal. There's a sense of remorse constantly attacking and echoing my head. Where it comes? Why there's someone in our brain who acts like a judge and judges every move we did? Now let's imagine this kind of scenario together. Perhaps you have all seen this before, when you and your family are traveling by car on a massive multi-lane highway. There are board signs on the side of the road which indicates how far the next ramp is or where the next ramp is going to. Have you ever wondered how everything will look like once you go into this ramp? For sure, that's not where destination is, and perhaps you have never heard about that. But why not? Why not just go down and take a look? Who or what is really blocking us from leaving the current track and exploring something new? There seems to be an invisible force which is blocking us and hold us back. And the force is from the judge in our mind. The judge isn't born with us, but rather being hired by us, because we are forced to engage in a serious and lifelong game, which has a rule book called meritocracy. The rule sounds simple and fair. The harder you work, the more you succeed. So whatever you might have, your grades, your words, your future college, they are all high scores you've achieved in this game. It sounds motivating, right? But let's think about the flip side of it. What if you fail to achieve something? According to the rule, the harder you work, the more you succeed. If you fail to achieve something, that means you do not work hard enough. If you feel tired, if you feel lost, if you just want to watch a group of people cleaning dirty carpets, it turns out to be your own fault. It turns out to be that you're not trying hard enough. That's the reason why we will feel guilty when we play games for 3 hours, but not for 3 hours of online courses. In the game of meritocracy, everything we did is valued by the judge who assesses us merit points. As long as something doesn't earn any points, the judge will warn you to stop it. Obviously, we are no longer living our lives. We are instead organizing and optimizing our resume of application. We now become the strictest manager of our personal brand. We have to ask ourselves, since when did being a human becomes a performance review? The trap of meritocracy makes you believe that the only thing that matters is the destination of the highway, and we should undoubtedly race on this track. But nobody had ever told you if the destination is as good as they described, or perhaps the destination isn't where the highway ends. We are not forced to play the game where you just run on the track of a nice primary school, a nice middle school, a nice high school, a nice college, then a nice work. The goal should not be just accumulating merit points of your performance. There's one lyrics writer whom I like. It's called Vincent Fang Wenshan. And he has written a lot of lyrics for the singer Jay Chou. Those things have now become the podium of Chinese-style songs. But in fact, he has only graduated from a vocational secondary school in Taiwan, which for most of us, that sounds a life that is not on the right track, or somebody may even consider it more severe, a life that has no future. However, for me, I think it is this kind of lost one's track that gives him the time and vitality to develop on writing. Overall, what I want to say is the trap of meritocracy always makes you believe the only thing matters is how fast you run through the whole track. But usually, the most genuine passion and the most genius idea are often discovered when you dare to take an unexpected turn. Next time, if you still feel guilty when you're playing games or relaxing, just think about this is not a bug of our deepest coding, but rather just a feature of yourself. Overall, we are human beings, not human doings. And finally, at the end of the speech, I want to end with a quote from the movie The Truman Show. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.